Hello, Lego fans, and welcome into a brand new episode of the Brick Hour podcast. I am JJ, otherwise known as Langster Builds on Instagram.
I am Cameron, otherwise known as Cameron Studios.
And with us today is a very special guest, our friend from the log, from Rock Log, Mackenzie, otherwise known as 585 Bricks.
How's it going, guys? Super excited to be on with you today.
It is an absolute pleasure having
hmm
you. For those who may not know who you are, would you like to say a quick something about yourself?
Sure. Yeah, so I'm 585 Bricks on Instagram. Mostly build Star Wars stuff, but I've started to branch out recently into kind of the fantasy, and we started a newer collab called Dinotopia, which is based on a children's picture book series with some just beautiful artwork. So it's been a real pleasure. But my real passion with Lego is definitely the Star Wars side of things.
And that is exactly why you are here today, because our topic is Star Wars,
JJ,
specifically.
we did it
Yes.
again.
Yep, we're matching again. Just realized that. Um, our topic this week specifically is Star Wars sets we have not yet gotten that we still very much need. Before we get to that, Cam, what are we building?
What are we building? This past weekend, JJ and I went a little excursion to Bricks Rock to pick up a few pieces. And while picking those up, I snagged the Joker
Oh
buildable
dear
figure from
God,
2012 without his gun. I'm gonna
the
have to
cursed thing.
brick link those pieces. Got a classic Ewok, love him. And in the mail today, I actually got some pieces to start my work on the mini Space Baby, but in blue.
Mhm.
Not all the pieces exist yet, so that's going to be a while. Built some plants, actually. Finally got around to tackling my backlog a little bit.
A little bit. Those are cool too.
And to top it off, what JJ and I went to Bricks Rock for to start our mosaic a little bit. We're not that far yet. Bricklink order should be here this weekend, and that's all the pieces we need. I hope. I hope we have enough white. That's the only part that I'm nervous about, but that's what we're working. We're hoping to get it done before Brick World Chicago. So that is what I've been building. Mackenzie, what have you been building?
Yeah, so kind of staying on theme with the episode here, some Star Wars stuff. So I recently built this
Oh
Imperial
yes.
Occupier
Ooh.
tank. So it's a an alt build of the MIDI scale Falcon.
Oh, okay.
It was designed by I'm not sure the exact pronunciation, but I think it's Kodianer Bricks on
Yes, I think you're
Instagram.
right.
And he released it was free for a few days, but two designs in celebration of the end of Andor season two,
Oh.
and that was one of them going into Rogue One. So that was a super fun build. And then the Lug is working on a Scarif group build for an
Mhm.
event that we're doing in is that October or November?
Yep.
And so I've been working on some different like palm tree designs. And I'm just going to go on a quick tangent here. The pick a brick reset in stores has been fantastic. So these newer fern pieces on the wall have been great. So just been working on some small stuff that we can kind of standardize for our lug. So it's very consistent across the entire group build.
And that'll be
Nice.
fun. How was the smaller speeder, the infantry speeder? How did that turn out?
It's I left that one upstairs. It's cool. I'm not sure it's exactly minifigure scale. It seems a little bit small.
Mhm.
And my obsession is kind of minifig scale stuff. But it was a fun build, and it's actually crazy how many of the pieces they utilize, but you also have leftover. You could probably figure out a third build
Wow.
using his design for the tank and that speeder.
That's sweet. Yeah, I got to get around to getting that now and building that alt build because I saw that in Rebrickable and was like, that's actually sweet.
All
Yeah,
right,
he did a
JJ.
fantastic job.
Speaking of fantastic, I went out to
Oh,
Target because I got a word. Finally, we have a Fantastic Four in minifigure form, in Lego form. Cam got mad because I jumped the gun and got it a week early.
you have no
I didn't.
patience.
I don't care. For those of you that know me personally, you know how much I love the Fantastic Four. When I found out they were over at Target, I got in the car and zoomed over there as quick as I could. I actually walked over there while I was on lunch at work and grabbed it quick and then went back. But I also, speaking of Star Wars stuff, did get in the Rebel Scout Speeder and Imperial Dropship. And
Hmm.
the Rebel Scout Speeder build is really cool. I actually love how like they updated that original '08 design. The dropship, not so much, but hey, it's still really cool to get all those troopers. That'll be perfect for my Yavin build. I'll be able to incorporate those in some way and just kind of have some fun with that. But now we're getting into the real substance of today's episode, which is Lego Star Wars. We all know how expansive the Star Wars universe is and just how many ships, locations, characters that Star Wars has in it. And Lego has done a really good job so far of capturing a lot of those, but they have left a bunch out. So we are here specifically to talk about various sets that Lego has not done based on various ships, locations, whatever, that they've never done that we still very much need them to make or need them to do, as they're just too big for them to continue to gloss over. And that's why Mackenzie is here because he's kind of a resident Star Wars guy in the lug for the most part.
Yep.
So having him here is a huge treat to be able to talk about that with him. Now, we went through and each of us selected four sets to go through and kind of pitch what we need. We are ranking them in ascending order, I guess. So we're starting with the one that we were like basically number one is the one we want the most. And all of us have different picks, so none of them are the same, which is going to be fun.
Hmm.
So I will go to Mackenzie to start off with your first pick, sir.
Sure. So something Lego has started doing in the past few years really well is the MIDI scale ships.
Okay.
So they launched that kind of sub theme several years ago. At this point, I think they had a original version of the Falcon that they eventually obviously remade. But I think there's a lot more opportunity. They can, get some ships that may be from the prequels or even the sequel trilogy. But the one that I'm really looking at that I've been begging for years as a fan of one of the few fans of Phantom Menace
Mhm.
is the Naboo Royal Starship, the
Ooh.
very sleek chrome build.
Ooh. Yeah.
It'd be an opportunity for them. They've been making some smaller curved elements the past few years. But it would allow them to do some of those drum lacquered chrome pieces on a smaller scale and at an affordable price point.
And I was gonna say, I think that's kind of the perfect way to go about doing one of those like Royal Naboo like starships. If you did one like play scale, it would have to be way too big, and you
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
drum lacquering all those parts would make it insanely expensive to get your hands on. I think MIDI scale is the way to go with that, and the fact that they're willing to do smaller scale shuttles, kind of like unfortunately Kylo Ren's command shuttle, which did not turn out to be very good.
Mhm.
If you were to do something smaller like the Naboo starship and had it be all drum lacquered silver, I think you're good to go. I think that's a perfect pick there.
I think that's why like MIDI scale like works so well because like we've gotten ships that I don't think would have worked in play scale, like the Invisible Hand. That would be an amazing place for like large scale UCS, but at the same time be so expensive. It's not a known ship. So I feel like MIDI scale is like the perfect way to like introduce different ships from Star Wars, see how they sell, and then kind of elevate to the UCS potentially. But I think that's a great choice. And I love Phantom Menace too. I've actually been doing a marathon of all the Star Wars. I just finished
Nice.
Revenge of the not Revenge, Return of the Jedi.
Very cool.
Dan, I'll let you go next.
All right, so speaking of Return of the Jedi, what I would like to see is actually a Super Ewok battle pack, actually, similar to the 501st. But like, I feel like a small battle pack wouldn't be enough. Like, I don't want just Ewoks. I would like to see like four different Ewoks, two Scout Troopers with an Ewok glider, maybe a Scout Trooper bike, and then like a little play feature of like a log release where they have like 4 or 5 logs that the Ewoks can release to go after the Scout Troopers. We've gotten Ewoks in the past, but I feel like that's one of the few factions within Star Wars that no one's really been able to army build truly, even though it was one of the major armies inadvertently in Return of the Jedi. And I just feel like it'd be a fun little battle pack. Kids would want it, adult fans would want it. It's kind of like a universal set that I feel like everybody would want.
It's just a natural battle pack you can do too. It would probably line up well with a Return of the Jedi wave if you ever wanted to do another one of those again. I think that would work out pretty well.
Yeah, and I think they've been rumored for a few years to be making a Master Builder series set based on Return of the Jedi, something from
Oh,
Endor, either a new bunker or another crack at the Ewok village. So any battle pack to allow us to army build those figs would be great.
I mean, even if you did that kind of like if you were to release that big Master Builder
mhm.
series set and then release the battle pack like a few months later, kind of like they did with the Snowtrooper battle pack with the
Yeah,
AT-AT,
exactly.
that would
Mhm.
work pretty well when we're fleshing that out some more. My first pick, so I will put this out there right now. I am only 5 episodes into Andor season 2. I'm
I
working through
am
it.
no episodes into Andor season 2. I'm ashamed, but
But my number 4 pick is the TIE Avenger. Just from the hype that ship has gotten around people just being like, it's awesome, and I think it looks sweet. I'm honestly shocked that this wasn't a set that is coming out in the summer wave. Like, it's a TIE fighter, it looks really cool. And I just from that sense, I'm kind of like, why did they not do this? And it's the lowest on my list right now because I feel like it's very new, and I think they're going to see the hype around it, and people are they're going to eventually go back and do it. Whether it's next year or the year after, they will do it. I don't think this is the last we're seeing of any Andor related sets at all. Um, but yeah, I think that'd be sweet. Again, I don't know. Like I'm only on episode. I'm about to watch episode 6 tonight and keep on going. I don't know if it shows up again, so it could be way more important. But from what little I've seen of it so far, it's cool enough to warrant a set.
all right, let me ask you this. Would you trade that set with the U-Wing that you just got? Because it probably was one of the two sets that
Ooh.
they're thinking about.
No, I love the U-Wing too much. You guys know that I wasn't totally sold on the U-Wing at first,
Hmm.
and then I got it in hand, and I'm like, yeah, no, this thing is way too cool. Like I kind of love that new U-Wing, so I wouldn't try. I would trade another set that like I would swap out Ahsoka's Interceptor for the Defender for the Avenger all day
Ooh.
long. I would drop that and put the Avenger in there 100%. And that's
I
me being a big Clone Wars guy. I would
I
totally do
think
it.
they were probably only doing one Andor set just to kind of test the waters like they did with the first season. And with how well received this season did, I think you're right that it should be coming within the next couple of years.
I think too, since Disney has acquired the IP, they've been a little bit more hesitant to do any non-movie based sets, or I guess Clone Wars as well. But I mean, there's been so many good video games that have come out since Disney
Hmm.
acquired the IP. Um, the Jedi Survivor, and I can't think of the other title.
Fallen Order.
Yes, thank you. There's some excellent sets, and I know we got the Cal Kestis minifig as one of the 25 years of Star Wars Lego and the Star Destroyer set, but I think they should try and kind of take that leap and give shows like Andor, shows like The Acolyte the chance with a few more sets because I think they'd be very well received.
I mean, I've seen a lot of
Especially,
people talk. I've seen a lot of people talk lately about the fact that, like, it almost seems like Lego's afraid to take the leap on some of these projects, whereas in the past, like, we got sets based on Knights of the Old Republic when that game came out. Like, we got a bunch. We got a whole wave.
Yeah,
And we
even the
got,
Force Unleashed got a set.
yeah, Force Unleashed, like the
mhm.
Rogue Shadow got a set. Like, if Knights of the Old Republic came out now, there is zero chance we get any sets for it. And the fact the only like Star Wars Jedi game series set we have is BD1 is kind of sad because I'm like, we'll get to it later, but that game should be getting more love than it's getting.
Mhm.
Um, Go ahead, Cam. Sorry.
Well, I was almost wondering, like, they did so many sets for Mandalorian. Like, why are they scared of Disney Plus show sets? Because, like, they can't use the excuse that they're worried about, like, it's niche because it's only subscriber based because they've done all the Mandalorian sets. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense why there's no Andor sets outside of there's not, like, a lot of, I don't know, maybe it's tiers away from being like a kids show per se, 'cause it is more adult themed in
Mhm.
some aspects compared to like Mandalorian with Grogu.
I think that's the biggest thing, and especially, I mean, Ahsoka only got one set, correct?
No, so
Ahsoka got
Ahsoka
three,
got 4.
four.
Okay,
Ahsoka's got 4, and then there's the battle pack coming out in June.
Yep,
that's right. So, I mean, that's a show that has, a character that kids grew up with. Andor really didn't have that. I mean,
exactly.
Rogue One is very well received, but there's not really a cast of characters that every kid is wanting a minifigure of, for
Mhm.
example. So,
Hmm.
I think they're gonna shy away from those kinds of sets for that reason.
Yeah, I would also agree with you on that as well. I think that's a good point. I think also like not to keep going off on a tangent, but I think Andor also there's not enough like play set substance there.
Exactly.
It's like season one there was that drop ship and that was pretty much it. Like but yeah, I mean, I think this kind of goes into Mackenzie. Your next pick, I'm pretty sure, is Andor related, I believe.
I'm actually holding that one for right now, but
Ooh.
is this my segue into my second pick?
This is
Go for
segueing
it.
into your second
Okay.
pick, yes.
Okay. So, kind of a broad idea here. I would love more 18 plus small builds. So, I think the dioramas have given us that, but now I'd
Mhm.
like to see more on the vehicle side of things.
Ooh.
So, I love the Brick Vault designs that are available. They can be pretty pricey, especially when you're finding like a random gear that may have only come in one set in light bluish gray.
Mhm.
And being Star Wars, we have a lot of light and dark bluish gray that we're working with. But a TIE Outlander set,
Mm.
Oh,
small 18 plus build, minifigure scale. It's not going to be something that lends itself well to a play scale kit because it's just going to, too much going on with it. I think that would be amazing.
I mean, we saw the Outlander in it was in Mandalorian season one, wasn't it?
Yes, at the end of
Okay.
Mandalorian
Yeah, it
season
was
one.
in and it was a. I didn't realize it was its own ship until later on. I thought it was
Oh,
just like a
really?
basic TIE fighter that was just landing. I thought that's how they were like changing the game and how the TIE fighter landed. And I realized after the fact, no, it's a different ship entirely. I'm honestly also surprised that didn't come out when Mandalorian season one released. I mean, we got that ATST Walker, which was
Hmm.
cool, that like beat up one, but I'm almost surprised they didn't do that. I mean, I guess they had just done that TIE fighter that same year, so it kind of doesn't make so. But
I think it
again,
was a
that would be
mix
a
of
cool one to go
that.
back.
I think it was a mix of that, but also it could have been the case where maybe I feel like a lot of people forget that Lego works based off of concept art, and if it wasn't in the concept art, maybe they didn't know to design it.
Very true.
And now that it has come out, maybe they can go back to it. I mean, Star Wars isn't afraid to go back and do sets of movies or TV shows that they've already done. It's not like Marvel with Infinity Saga. Star Wars will just do a set from a movie just because they want to. So I feel like that set might actually have a good chance of becoming one.
No, Mackenzie, are you envisioning this being like a brick vault style build where it's very intricately built and it's just for display? Kind of like we're rumored to be getting that ATST later this year. Are you thinking something
Exactly.
like that, like with a minifigure on a plaque, and just going from there?
Yeah, I mean, I think a plaque would be neat. I assume that's what we'll end up getting with the ATST. But really, I'm just looking for an intricate build,
Mhm.
something with, the ability to actually fold it up with a gear system built in. The Brick Vault, someone in the club, Glenn, has the Brick Vault scale build, and it's excellent. Like I said, it's just not feasible to piece that together based on my collection. You're gonna have
Mhm.
to go out and find a few
Hmm.
pieces that may be out of production at this point. So if Lego is able to do that in an affordable way, and when I say affordable, I know it's not going to be cheap, but $120, I think would be reasonable for something like that that's marketed towards adults.
That'd be really cool. Yeah, I would agree.
No,
I think that's a
definitely.
really solid pick there.
All right, my number three pick is actually going to be the Skywalker home from Phantom Menace, sort of in a gift with purchase style, where we get like a little room, similar to Luke's aunt. Can't
Emperor,
remember her name. What's that?
Peru.
Baru.
Yeah, similar to like that style, except it's sort of like just their little home. So we'll get like it might be our first Shmi Skywalker minifigure,
Mhm.
a young Anakin, and a prototype C-3PO. I feel like that would be a great gift with purchase, whether on a May 4th or with another set, if they release like maybe a UCS version of the Royal Naboo fighter. I just feel like it'd be a great way to get those three characters, and we've already got a lot of young Anakins, but a way to get Shmi and the prototype C-3PO finally.
I think it's a I think that works even better as a gift with purchase too, because I don't think that specific location on its own lends itself to any sort of set at all. I mean, unless you were to do another like Master Builder series Tatooine type
Oh,
thing,
okay.
but I think if you were to do that, you can't do it without the cantina, which makes no sense because you just did the cantina and it was done perfectly.
Hmm.
I think gift with purchase that works well. I could see that being a gift with purchase with an Ultimate Collector Series Naboo Starfighter. Like if they were ever to go back and do that as a larger scale build, I could see them using that as a gift with purchase tied directly to that set almost like perfectly.
Mhm.
And I do love that Amperu gift with purchase that we got a few years ago. I always wanted to kind of do like a slice of the Skywalker compound with different rooms, kind of like there's that Lego app that I can't think of the name of right now. It was a
The Builder
game,
app? Oh.
the tower where
Yes.
it was
Yeah,
all
Oh.
yeah,
different
yeah.
apartments. It'd be really cool to have like something that you could put together like that. The format works really well, and you can do such small detailing and like the plant and the blue milk and everything that they included in that gift with purchase was really fun. So I think that'd be really, really neat.
Yeah, that would actually be that's a really strong pick for a gift with purchase too, I think. Especially with the fact that like the fact we're getting more prequel UCS stuff, I don't think
Mhm.
it would be a shock to see this at all down the I think this is probably a good pick to see at some point down the line. My number three is one that again I am shocked we did not get when the show was coming out. Boba Fett's Rancor.
Ah.
This is I know people don't like Book of Boba Fett. I was one of the few people that actually did really enjoy it. I thought it was fun for what it was. And
Mandalorian 2.5.
when I saw that Rancor like scene where he's riding the Rancor throughout Mos Espa, I sat there and said, "Yeah, that's going to be a set that come out within like a year." And we've never seen it. And I figure this would be so easy to do just a, I mean, you could do, I guess you could do a Rancor like you could bring the moldable Rancor back. It's an excuse to do that again. Or if you don't want to do that, you could just we've seen there's been a lot of advancements with creature building lately. You could just do, excuse me, you could just do a brick built Rancor with a molded head, use the same hand pieces, call it a day, include Boba Fett, include Cad Bane, and then either throw the Mandalorian in there if you want a third figure, or if you're feeling really spicy, maybe do Cobb Vanth, even though he wasn't there. But that would be a cool way to get that updated Cad Bane, to get that, to bring back the Rancor. And again, I'm just surprised they haven't gone back and done that because that to me felt like a surefire bet of this is how we bring the Rancor in and get people to want to buy that just to buy the Rancor
Mhm.
without having to do the Rancor pit again because you're attached to Jabba's palace and blah blah blah. Like I'm shocked that did not happen, and I'm hoping they do it one day.
Go ahead.
Go
No,
ahead, Brett.
I was gonna you go.
I'm begging for an opportunity to finally pick up Rancor. If you follow me or check out my Instagram after this, 585 bricks. Something I've been working on for a few years now is a massive Tatooine build, and something on my bucket list for that is to eventually do a Jabba's palace. So just an opportunity to get that mold because it's just gotten so expensive, like all molded creatures that Lego
Mhm.
has made after the sets retire. And there was a little bit of controversy with that wave of Jabba's Palace sets.
Mhm.
So any chance to get that again, I would immediately buy probably four of them just to have extras.
I mean, you'd get one
Mhm.
to use, then get three to sit on because you know it's going to
Right.
skyrocket
Yeah,
after the fact.
definitely. I mean, I think it might be the curse of the concept art again. It could have been the case where they didn't show Lego that they were doing a Rancor. I don't know. I think it works to do it either the brick build, like you said, JJ, or bring back the original mold. I know, I'm sure a lot of Lego fans would be happy to get the Rancor a bit cheaper again, considering how expensive that first one and only one was, where I'm actually considering buying that set. Oh boy. But it's definitely, I feel like it would be a cool playset, but also if they made it like that, I could see that being like a $120 set with the Rancor and a bit of the city around it for him to walk through. So I definitely think that that could work with Boba Fett. Now, with how well the Book of Boba Fett did, I don't know if it'll happen, unfortunately.
That's my thing because I mean, you bring up the concept art point, which is a very valid point to bring up. Like, obviously, they have to go off concept art, but both Mandalorian season two, Mandalorian season three, and Ahsoka all had sets come out a year plus after that show came out
True.
because the designers obviously wait to see what was coming, thing. So, like We got the Ghost. We knew that was coming. We got the E-Wing, and we got the Shin Hati Starfighter. We got the T6 shuttle, specifically talking about Ahsoka. And then it was almost a year later was when we got Duel on Peridea, and then
Right.
even longer after now we're getting the Night Trooper battle pack, and it's like they're not afraid to go back, and they're more than willing to go back to these old shows after they've been out for a while to go back and recapitalize. I think this is just a victim of Book of Boba Fett was not viewed very favorably by Star Wars fans, and now they're just bypassing it and continuing on in favor of things that people are liking more.
On top of the fact that the one Book of Boba Fett set that was released didn't do that well either.
Which surprised me because I have that Boba Fett palace. It's a good set.
It wasn't it called Bib Fortuna's Palace, or was it called Boba's Palace?
I think it was Boba's palace.
Yeah, I think that was the name. It was surprise. I was working for our local Lego store at the time when that set came out, and I was surprised by number one how awful that sold. Excuse me,
Mhm.
um, because the minifigure selection is excellent. I mean, we
Oh
got
yeah.
I can't think of the character name, but the pink hair figure.
Right.
That was the first time that we saw that alien race in minifigure form. The Bib Fortuna figure was excellent. The
Mhm.
Boba Fett figure, I mean, while not the best, it was still a pretty affordable way
Super
to get
detailed.
that figure. And they discounted that set so quickly. I think it came
Hmm.
out in the summer wave, and by Black Friday, I think it was 40% off. So
Wow.
Yeah.
that I was surprised as well how poorly that set sold.
I mean, that set was also the first time we ever got a Quarren too, which was pretty wild. Like that
Yeah.
figure is really
Hmm.
good. And it's not like all the Book of Boba Fett sets sold badly because the N1 Starfighter is still out, I'm pretty sure. I think you can still
Yeah.
buy that.
Oh, well, that was. Well, I mean, I feel like that had grew legs because of Mandalorian season 3, and they could
Yeah.
market it as a Mandalorian set. Or like, if it was a strictly Book of Boba Fett set, I don't think it would have sold as well. I think because
I
they were
mean, it
able to
has it,
market it
it
as a
does have the
Mandalorian set.
it has the Book of Boba Fett like box art on it.
It does.
Yeah, which is interesting, but that's enough on that. Mackenzie, your number two set.
Yeah, I don't know how it's 2025 and we haven't gotten a Jedi Temple yet.
Wow.
It is unbelievable. I think there's so many ways you could do it. I think you could do a mini scale one, kind of a la the Hogwarts Castle that we got a few
Hmm.
years
Oh,
ago.
okay.
And then you could have either microfigs or you could throw a few figures in there. I think you could do a diorama of the Jedi Council room and give
Mm.
us a few of the council members we haven't gotten yet. Maybe we could finally get a hologram figure, like
Ooh.
come
Be
out of
so cool.
the Mexican factory every so often with the Darth Vader figures. And then there was a model, I can't remember who made it, but someone did the Jedi library
Hmm.
Ooh.
with, I can't think of the
Jocasta,
older.
Jocasta,
Yes.
Jocasta New, yeah.
Uh, yep. And I think that would be a great opportunity. It's a pretty blocky design in general, so I
Hmm.
think it would translate well into Lego. But an Order 66 set would be great. I don't think it's happening.
No, no.
But any of the other ways to get some sort of representation of the Jedi Temple would be great.
I so thought when they were doing the diorama series, I'm sitting there going, they're 100% going to do the March to the Temple with Anakin and a couple 501st clones. I thought that
Oh.
was coming, and now it looks like the diorama series is just dead, which sucks because those sets were like I have a couple of them. I like Dagobah is great, and like Dagobah was great. The throne room was awesome, and I'm like I think to your credit, like just do the temple. Like if you did the Jedi Council room as a diorama, that would be awesome.
Hmm.
I would love. I mean, I think mini skill would be better because you get the whole temple.
Hmm.
I don't know how they would. I guess they could do it pretty easily, but I almost wonder like if you could do it like Yavin, like the Yavin set where you do like
Oh.
half the temple and the inside has some rooms. Like that could also be interesting. But again, you'd get people complaining that it's not the full temple. But I agree. Any chance we can get at this point to get the Jedi temple that isn't 4 plus, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I almost feel like, I mean, we know how Lego can be overprotective in some cases. Like they want to avoid like military and like avoid religion for the most part. I'm almost wondering if they're avoiding the word temple in a sense, if that might be a reasoning. but also how large it would be. I feel like if we did the Jedi Council chamber, that I feel like would sell real well. I don't know if we'll ever see like the full on temple. I would love to see it in many different scales. I feel like if they were to do like the library or Yoda's training room with a bunch of younglings, or like I said, the Jedi Council room, I feel like if they were to do like within the temple, that would be really good. I do think, I don't know for sure, we can't say for sure, but I'm wondering if they're avoiding the word temple if possible. Like they already changed like Boba Fett's starship from Slave One. Lego just wants to avoid any chance of controversy. And like I feel like the word temple, while it might not seem it directly, some people might find some way to be upset about it.
I hear that. I do think that they've kind of strayed away from that to an extent. I mean, we got the giant architecture Notre
True.
Dame, which is a Catholic church. So I'm not sure if that would sway them when it comes to the Star Wars IP. And I'm sure they could find a name
Hmm.
around it that they wouldn't necessarily have to directly say temple, especially if it was like the Jedi Council room, like that. There's no reference to religion
Exactly.
really in that. So I I hear where you're coming from though.
Hmm.
I'm just thinking now, like I think if you did the Jedi Temple as like an architecture set,
Ooh.
like Notre Dame Cathedral,
Ooh.
that would be sweet. I know that's like at first I'm like, how would you do that mini scale? Then Cam, you brought up Matt Cam Mac, you brought up the Notre Dame Cathedral. I went, ooh, that could actually work, and
Mhm.
that level of detail, like I'd be all over that. That'd be
Hmm.
Or
sweet.
even the pyramid that they did a few years ago. If you did
Yeah.
it on that scale, I think that'd be fine. I mean, the exterior design of the Jedi Temple isn't so complicated that
Mm-mm.
you would need to do it on the scale of Notre Dame, which is, very, very intricate. I mean, a lot of the first looks we got of the Jedi Temple were in Revenge of the Sith, where, the CG wasn't all there at that point. So it's, not the most detailed arc.
I almost wonder if they'd ever do like a series of like MIDI scale dioramas of just like planets with locations. Like, could you imagine doing them doing Coruscant and you get the Jedi Temple, the Senate, like the Senate building, like that would be really kind of. I don't know. Those two are
Hmm.
kind of it for Coruscant, at least in my eyes. But that would be kind of cool if you could pull that off.
Yeah.
Um, Cam, your number two pick.
So this, I wasn't able to figure out like actual set for it. It's more of like an idea for it. I would like to see some more Rebels love. I want to see the Inquisitor battle where it was Ahsoka, Kanan, Ezra, and Maul versus the fifth brother, the eighth brother, and the seventh sister, giving us the eighth brother and seventh sister in minifig form for the first time, and maybe getting a newer Maul with maybe a new molded lightsaber hilt for him because he did have that Inquisitor hilt, but kind of broken, and be a chance to get an updated Ahsoka in Rebels form, maybe a new Kanan, and then an actual. Well, no, Ezra still had the long hair at that point, but I feel like you could do like a cool cave build sort of thing where you had like play features of like the eighth brother falling, which was such a stupid way for him to die. But I just feel like it would be a cool way to get a bunch of new minifigures while also updating some older ones that are very high value that not many people would have a chance to get now.
That'd be a fun one to see. I mean, I even think you could throw Darth Vader into that. Like, I think
Oh
that would be a
yeah.
really cool way. Like, just I mean, that would end up making it more expensive putting another figure in. But I mean, Vader would be such an easy inclusion, even if you wanted to drop. If they
Hmm.
were to do it, I don't know if they do all the Inquisitors. I'd like them to. It'd be
Hmm.
cool. But I feel like they'd probably just if they were to do that, they'd probably drop one of the Inquisitors, replace it with Vader, so you could have Ahsoka fight Vader,
And drop the
like
fifth brother.
somewhere in
We've
the
already
build.
gotten two of him.
I think he'd be the one they keep because they have the part for him already. It'd be easier for
Ah,
him to them to include him. But I think that's a really crazy good scene, a huge scene from Rebels that they haven't touched. And I'm kind of surprised they never went back and did that in between the animated show gaps. But yeah,
mhm.
that's a really cool
You
idea.
could almost do a dual molded Kanan face where you have him that he can see, and then you kind of morbid, but you flip and he'd be blind at that point. Like that
That'd
would
be
be a
cool, actually.
different face print for him.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity. Rebels is another show that, when the wave came out, the show itself wasn't out, so the sets didn't do well, and that led to, the discounting. And now people have an appreciation for Rebels, where a lot of those figures are, north of $100, which is super unfortunate. So any opportunity we can get Inquisitors or any of the cast of characters from that would be great.
I'm glad that the Inquisitors and a lot of the Rebels cast are starting to pop up again in the live
Yes.
action shows. Like
Yes.
I'm sitting here like this, being like, "Come on, man, put Zeb in some Mando and Grogu sets, please,
Mm,
God." I need him to like. I didn't get any of the Rebel sets they first came out. I've been collecting all the Ahsoka sets to try to get a lot of the Rebels cast, and I'm
yeah.
like, all right, I just need to get Ezra, and I don't have Peredia yet. I gotta get Ezra, Zeb, Kanan, and I'm good. And probably Callus, because I bet he'll show up some point also. But yeah, that's a fun idea. My number two pick is one that people are gonna probably groan when I say it, but
Uh-oh.
we got the teaser and not teaser. We got the reported leak earlier this year that we were finally gonna get this set in August because of some figure leaks, and we're gonna get these characters and all this other stuff. And now I'm kind of sitting there like, all right, here it comes. And then nope, we are getting a turbo tank. Can we please, dear God, get the UTAT already? Like the fact that we're getting Kiadi Mundi, Commander Bakara, and all of the Galactic Marines in this set in August, and they're with a turbo tank makes no sense to me. If you're gonna do another turbo tank, just do Gree, Yoda, Luminara, and a bunch of Kashyyyk scouts and call it. If you're gonna do Kiadi Mundi, put him with the UTAT already, man. Like, and I get why it looks very much like an ATTE, and you still have an ATTE out now. And that set's been out for almost 3 years, which to me is
Really?
blowing my mind. So that set's got to be selling really well, and I think we all know why. It's because Cody's in it, and they're trying to milk Cody as much as they can. But I'm just kind of like, man, like I was so hyped. I'm like, we're getting the UTAT, and then it's like, no, it's a turbo tank. And don't get me wrong, I'm excited we're getting a turbo tank, but the UTAT we've never seen before. And I know it was on screen for all of seconds and it was blown up by a missile. I don't really care. I'd love to just see them try and do one. We know they've almost done it before. There's like in the one of the like Lego design books, there was a experimental UTAT that they had done and they've never gone back to it since. And I'm just kind of like, man, in the all the like especially this year of all years, with
Mhm.
it being the anniversary for Revenge of the Sith, how this doesn't get put somewhere blows my mind. I get why you're doing a turbo tank, but you have the wrong figures line up with that turbo tank.
I was surprised to see that, or rumors, but that Gree isn't coming in the turbo tank, especially since a few years ago there was that. I'm not sure if it was a vote or if it was just some graphic that Lego released with the updated Rex, the updated Cody, the updated Fox, who we got in the gunship,
Oh.
Oh, it
and
was
then there
It
was a
was for
Gree
Lego
as well.
Fortnite. Lego Fortnite, I
no, it wasn't
think.
Fortnite. It was the mobile
Oh, it was
game.
before
Oh,
that.
it was a
It
mobile
was the
game. You're
mobile
right.
game.
You're right.
So we ended up getting those three updated figures, but we haven't gotten Gree yet. So, I mean, he's got to be coming. Obviously, we won't get the set you're asking for because that didn't appear on Kashyyyk.
Mhm.
But it will come. The clone collectors in the
Mhm.
Lego Star Wars community are one of the largest populations.
Mhm.
Uh, they've been begging for it. I
Mhm.
was surprised, especially since this is the anniversary year for Revenge of the Sith. It feels like Lego doesn't necessarily pay attention to those super hard. I would expect them to dedicate maybe an entire wave to a movie that's at an anniversary year, but
Mhm.
I'm sure it will come eventually.
Complete tangent, but Lego doesn't pay attention to anniversaries because they had the 10-year anniversary of the superhero theme, and we didn't get anything from Marvel or DC. Back to Star Wars. I gotta be honest, I'm blanking on what this ship looks like, but
it's an ATTE without legs. It's basically what it looks like. If you want to picture it, it's that.
okay. All right, answer me this. How would you have it kind of be displayed? Like, would you have like trans clear bricks below it to like make it
Yeah,
float?
just do it the way you've done a bunch of the older like hover tanks where you just get some of the trans clear like Technic wheel pieces and just pop them under there and it can
Oh.
roll. Like it's not that hard.
Yeah, I mean
There's
that I feel like
there's a
that could
bunch of
work.
ways
That
to
would
do
be
it.
a different enough, not different enough because it's obviously looks like it, but I feel like it could be a cool larger scale set with that play feature, like you said, with like the invisible wheel. That would be a lot of fun. I mean, like you both said, with Revenge of the Sith having its anniversary, it was a perfect opportunity. Maybe something happened in the design phase where something just isn't working right, if it was likely to happen. But I mean, there's plenty of time to do it when with all the shows coming out for between Revenge of the Sith and New Hope, and maybe more shows in between. There's an opportunity it could be on screen again, where Lego would be like, "Huh, maybe we should do this." I feel like it does have a good chance to become a set soon.
I mean, the other thing is the Republic fighter tank is never seen during any of the live action movies, or
You're
maybe
right.
it's seen in, you never see it once. It's been made into a set 3 times. Like, how the UTAT has not gotten any love. I mean, especially, I mean, the anniversary of Revenge of the Sith was this year. It was also the anniversary year for Force Awakens, and Force Awakens got a couple sets, so there was that. But I mean, I was more just boggled by the fact that like this set shouldn't be on my list right now. By all respects, it was coming this year, and then all of a sudden was nope, now it's Turbo Tank. And I figured, it's probably, the rumor was probably wrong, the person got it wrong, whatever. No, it's there's a whole sketch of it now out there floating around. So I'm like, well, there goes my ultimate pick for finally getting the UTAT. But I digress. Mackenzie, your final pick.
Yep. So I mean, a large reason why I'm choosing this is because of Andor season two. I know Cam, you haven't started it yet, and JJ, you haven't finished it yet. But what a fantastic show!
Mhm.
And on that note, I'm begging for a UCS Luthen's Fondor Hallcraft. Uh,
Please.
it is such a great ship design.
Mhm.
It speaks to the original designs and the miniatures that they used to make at Lucasfilms, and they still make to a certain extent. It's great. I know it doesn't get a ton of screen time compared to other ships they've made into UCS sets. I mean, the Razor Crest is probably the closest when it comes to screen time, and even then, it gets a lot of it.
Mhm.
But I think it would sell well, especially since it's marketed towards adults.
Hmm.
Um, and the character is just fantastic.
Luthen's awesome. If you're my view with the Fondor too is if they decided they didn't want to go UCS because they weren't sure it was going to sell that way, I'm totally fine with just axing the Onyx Cinder and replacing it with that. Because the Onyx Cinder is not looking the same as it was in the set. So I'm kind of
Yeah.
like, I'm perfectly fine with just, yep, forget the Onyx Cinder and here's the Fondor and we just replace it with that. I'm I would love that. Or if you have to put it in this year to line it up with the show, again, theoretically speaking, I'm with you. I want it as a UCS set. It's sweet, and you could include like so many characters. Like you could put Bix in that. You could put Mon Mothma in that. That'd be a great way to get her to pop up again.
Yes.
Having B pop up again would be like having him pop up in general would be really cool. So I kind of just sit here and go like, yeah, like that's a no-brainer for Andor. How we haven't yet gotten that is
Hmm.
nuts. I mean, you could just take the two characters from the was it the gunship lander set and just put them in that, and there you go. There's two reuses for you. But yeah, Luthen's Fondor is way too cool to not have a set of its own.
And like, I know a couple people who buy Lego Star Wars sets and they don't even watch Star Wars. Brian, like JJ, we wait in line with Brian. He
Hmm.
hasn't seen any Star Wars media at all, but he just loves buying the different ships. And I feel like this ship is different enough where it would attract like the non-Star Wars fans on top of the Star Wars fans. It's such a cool looking ship, such a different looking ship. It will draw the attention of both Lego Star Wars fans and non-like Star Wars fans alike.
Mac, how big are you thinking this would be if it was UCS sale?
I mean, I'm thinking, what is the Razor Crest retail for?
The UCS one,
5?
like it's like six, is like six
Is it
thirty, isn't it?
6?
Yeah, I mean, that'd probably be what I would expect. I mean, it's a small ship, but I will say I wouldn't lose sleep if they had to do the Fondor in MIDI scale. I think it would also work there as
Yeah,
well, and then that would be a little less risky for Lego. But I do think it would perform just as well as the Razor Crest UCS.
I
Hmm.
think Andor is a big enough show to where it would work. I
Now
think
more
there's
than
enough
ever.
people. Yeah, it would work totally work in that scale.
Mhm.
Cam, your last pick, your number one.
A set that we have never gotten, Luke's land speeder.
Get out. Get out with that.
All right, no, in seriousness. So kind of piggybacking off of what JJ's with your tank, there was concept art of this set a long time ago. There was even prototypes made. The Geonosian of the pre-Geonosian battle with like the
Hmm.
three monsters from Attack of the Clones.
In the arena.
Yes, I would love to see it in a bigger style, like similar to do you remember the Thor versus Hulk set from Ragnarok?
Yeah.
I feel like if you do that set but a little bit bigger, you would have the three monsters, the three pillars with Anakin, Padme, and Obi-Wan. And then sort of where the Grand Master was, you would have Dooku and Jango Fett, and then maybe a couple Geonosians to kind of like watch it. I feel like it's such a missed opportunity that we haven't even gotten that set or any of those three monsters outside of I think they were in one of them was in a foil bag from a magazine only in Europe. I feel like those three monsters alone would draw people to that set, as well as just getting that amazing battle scene. Because we never even got the Geonosian battle, really. We got a few sets here and there, but never on that grand scale. Like that would be a cool UCS set. But
Hmm.
besides that, I wanted like this like a play scale set, like 120 to 150 with the three monsters, the three pillars, and maybe like a quarter of the arena just so you can have like Dooku and Jango Fett sort of watching it happen along with a couple Geonosian warriors.
I think if you did that set, you'd have to do Master Builder series. I think you have to do it
Okay.
so it can be that big.
Hmm.
I'm thinking this is going to be at least $300. I don't, the debate has been had a million times. Would you do like the Acklay and the other monsters? Would you do them as molded parts or would you do them as brick built with
I
molded
feel
heads,
like
like
you would
something like
need to
that?
do brick. I feel like you would have to do brick built maybe with molded heads. I feel like that would be a good medium because like if you do full on brick built, I feel like you lose some of the shaping with some of them. Though I mean Lego has come a long way since the prototype was first made, I think in like the mid 2000s for what they could do to like make all those curves with them. But I feel like a molded head would work for all three of the creatures with brick built bodies.
And Brickvault has a set of instructions for creatures in general, and three of them are the creatures from the arena scene, and they did a great job, and they're not
Yeah.
overly complicated. I think Lego would be able to do it well in a brick built way. Um, if that saves $100 because they don't have to throw in some molded pieces that are probably only going to show up in that set.
Hmm.
I can't think of the name of the creature, the mantis looking creature. Those are
Yeah.
from Felucia, so they may be able to reuse that one in like a Felucia set.
Hmm.
But I think just do a brick built and save us the little bit of money.
That's kind of where I was leaning also,
Hmm.
because I mean, we all see how expensive the Jurassic World sets are. Like, if you were to put three of those in a set like that,
Yeah.
you'd inflate the price so much. You'd have to take away from the build and the figure count, and it wouldn't work. Now, I think if you did the bodies brick built with the heads molded, I think that's
Exactly.
easier. I'm totally down for something like that. And I think you're right. I think we're overdue for a Geonosian Arena. The fact that Attack of the Clones didn't get any love for its anniversary year, and now here we are in the Revenge of the Sith anniversary year, getting the UCS Jango Fett Slave One is kind of hilarious. But yeah, I think the Geonosian Arena 100% is overdue. They need to make that. All right, my last pick is one that we kind of alluded to earlier, and again, the fact that the Jedi games from EA have only gotten one set and an anniversary figure is a crying shame. The fact that the Mantis from Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor has not yet been released as a physical set is nuts to me. It is a super iconic looking ship. It's very unique. It's like nothing we've seen real before really at all. It's got a really cool color scheme. I know in the game you can customize it, which makes things funky, but like who cares? Um, I think that would have been a great way to include Cal Kestis in a set without putting him as an anniversary figure in a Star Destroyer. And you can't tell me that they knew what they were doing putting him in that Star Destroyer because I don't think many people would have been buying that Star Destroyer had he not been in it. Um, I think the Mantis is heavily featured in all those games. I've played them both. I love them both. I'm so excited for the third game. And I really hope that Lego didn't sit there and see how poorly that BD1, the big buildable BD1 sold and go, well, the Fallen Order sets aren't going to work because nobody bought that BD1. No one bought BD1 because it was a big buildable droid. If you make it as a big spaceship, people love it. Now, I'm of two boats. I think you could either A, make it a play scale set. It'd have to be over $100. I'm thinking do it same level of like part usage as like the Justifier or the Onyx Cinder, put it into a bigger slot like that.
Hmm.
Give us the full team, like Cal, Marin, Grease, BD, whatever, whoever you want to put in there. You could again, you could even put Darth Vader in that because Darth Vader's in both the games. So like, it's an
Hmm.
excuse to put Darth Vader in another set and keep using that figure again. Or I could also see him doing a UCS scale model, like $300, something like that, and having the full detailed interior, which I think Lego is starting to do more of. Like the Razor Crest had a full interior, Jabba Sail Barge had a full interior. I think if you were ever to do the Mantis, you would have to do it in like if you were to do the Mantis UCS scale, you'd have to make it that big so
Hmm.
you could give it a full interior, and it would work. It's not like it's like got a complicated interior. It's just one big long box. That's all it
Mhm.
really is.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a minifig scale of the little terrarium area in that the back corner of the mantis. The only way this set is getting my stamp of approval though is if we get a Turgle minifigure.
Yes.
Uh, I think it
Yes.
would be fun. Just in general, Grease would be really cool to get a figure of. The cast of characters is just great in that game, and like you said, it's an iconic ship design. That's another one that speaks so true to the original ship designs from the original trilogy. Uh,
Mhm.
I imagine we'll get that down the road.
I hope we do. I really hope we do.
I'm almost wondering though, because like I've heard rumblings, I'm sure you guys have for the past few years, that they want to bring the character into a show or do a movie in some shape or form. I'm almost wondering if Lego's waiting for that release so they can get kind of a broader audience as opposed to those who just play video games. Because like I never played the game, so like I don't have as much of an attachment. I definitely would buy it, but if I saw him in the show and he was like a big part of it, or like he had his own show or a big part in a movie, I feel like that's might be what Lego's waiting for because the fact that they have the actor like doing the motion capture for the character in the video game, like they could just as easy put him into a show or a movie with no problem at all. So I'm almost wondering if that's what Lego's waiting for is for Star Wars to bring him into the shows or the movies.
I'm curious to see how his story ends in the third game and whether I mean if he does survive that, if they choose to put him in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie,
Ooh.
um, I think that would be the most clear option for them at this point, unless they do another project like Andor, which takes place during the Galactic Civil War.
Hmm.
But I'm not sure unless they dedicate an entire show to him we'd get a project with him,
Ooh.
on screen.
I mean, yeah, and Mac, to your point, also, like, we don't know how his story's going to end. Like, right now, he's been kept to the video games. I mean, we've seen the BD unit droids pop up in Mandalorian and Book of
Hmm.
Boba Fett, but I sit here and I look at this and I'm just kind of like, and Cam, you and I had the conversation last
Yes.
night. We were talking like, there's probably a good shot Cal does not survive the third game just because of that one line of dialogue that Yoda has in Return of the Jedi with the last of the Jedi will you be? And it's like they found creative ways to sneak
Hmm.
around. Well, how is Ezra still around? And how is Ahsoka still around? But Cal is a full-fledged Jedi Knight at this point. Like
Hmm.
you either have to kill him or something's got to happen to where you can get around that one line of dialogue because Yoda knows of him. And there's no way you can sneak around that. So
Stronger with the Force he is.
I think if you were to do another like Andor kind of series that is set in that time period, and you had Cal and that crew appear as like a guest appearance on an episode,
Ooh.
I think that's the way that you sneak him into a live action TV show or a movie. You have to go back to that time period because again, I don't think he's making it past the third game. I think you have, I mean, they killed Seer, she's gone. So I'm kind of like they've got to like there's I don't know, I don't see it, but I also think again, Lego, you've done video game sets before. You did the Rogue Shadow. You did Knights of the Old
Was
Republic.
this before Disney bought Star Wars?
Yes, but we did get
Yes,
the two Battlefront battle packs.
correct.
So, I
Mm.
mean, they've kind of, snuck them in, and I guess
We
you
got
could argue that those
we got
are,
three
true
Battlefront
to
battle
the.
packs.
That's right.
JJ, do
We
you
got
want your
three.
minute to talk about bringing back Battlefront 3?
No, because we have a YouTube short ready to go on that in the next couple days. Um, but yeah, like I think like don't be afraid. Like I think the reason the BD1 set failed is because it was a big buildable droid.
And there was
And
already probably what, two or three on the shelves already at the time.
yeah, like R2D2 was still out. So it's like that you're cannibalizing the sales of that set with that. And sneaking Cal into that Star Destroyer is great because oh look, we put Cal Kestis out,
Hmm.
but that you're making me buy a Star Destroyer I do not want to get this figure that I really do want.
Hmm.
And good luck buying him on the aftermarket because he's a gajillion dollars. So,
Mhm.
but again, like I think the Mantis is easily my number one. I want that set so bad; it'd be super fun. Um, that's it though for this Star Wars discussion. This was an absolute blast. Mackenzie,
Hmm.
thank you for taking time out of your schedule for coming on and talk to us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was great.
Would you like to plug your socials quick so that everybody can see what else you are working on elsewhere?
Yeah, so 585 bricks, one word on Instagram. I post, stories on the stuff I'm working on. And really you're going to see a lot of our Scarif stuff coming up. So
Mhm.
give me a follow there.
Yeah, I'm excited to
Awesome.
start working on that with everybody. That's going to be a fun one. If you have not already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when all new episodes do go live. You can also follow us on Instagram at BrickHourPod. You can follow me on Instagram at Langster Builds. We will see you all in the next episode. Have a great night.